folks. So this is just a little example of Bandlab, which I would recommend to all of you out there who have not or do not play instruments. And also for those of you who do, it's a great way to build your song. So just to show you how you get here, you're going to bandlab.com. And what you will find is you will find a way to sign in. It will usually be sign in with Facebook. I'll show you by signing out so you can see. So it will usually be to sign in or sign up. So if you go up to sign up here, it'll ask if you'd like to sign up with Google or Facebook or Apple. So if you've got any of those, then you can of course use those to sign in. I'm signed in, so I'm going to sign back in with Facebook. Here we go. So it's kind of like a social media site for making songs, but if you don't follow anyone and no one follows you, then you can just use it as a place to put your ideas. So over here are projects that I'm running now. These are community projects, so I'm not going to let you into these because these are private projects. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new project. So we go to create and you'll see what comes up is this blank screen and it will say new track. So we're going to record voice and mic, and in order to do that, that will capture the sound of any sound at all, so it will be your voice in this case. Now, one recommendation for Bandlab would be please do wear headphones. Headphones mean that you can record to what we call a metronome. So if this all looks a bit confusing, don't worry yet, okay? Just focus on the basics. So here's some basics. Where you see here 120 beats per minute, that's how fast your song's going to go. That's how many beats there are in every minute. So I'm going to make this a hip hop track. So a usual hip hop track would be around about, let's say, 95 beats per minute, okay? Let's go up a wee bit because I know what track I'm going to record. Okay, 100 beats per minute. So when I play this, you should be able to hear a metronome coming from the screen. So in order to start it, I'm going to press the space bar. Space bar always starts the music. So here we go. So you should be able to hear that metronome coming from the screen. Now I'm going to press stop by pressing space bar again. And pressing return, the return button. So when you're moving this forward, if you want to go back to the start, press enter or return. Okay, so once you've done that, I can see here that my voice, this is my voice you're seeing as a sound wave here, is pretty loud. So I'm going to turn my microphone down ever so slightly in order to make sure that I don't overdo it. Okay, so I'm going to record for you a basic rap onto Bandlab. I'm just going to do this for quickness and to show you how this works. So I'm going to press record. I'm not taking the metronome off just now because the metronome is what is giving me my timing. Again, so this is just to example how you use this particular piece of equipment. And we'll call this project Sunny G example. So here we go. I'm going to press record. Now that red button there, if you've never used software like this before, is a record button. And when I press it, I'll get a count in of 4 and then it will record. So here we go. I used to travel, never stayed at maps. Gazing, lustful, longing for the journey back. I'm blessed with plenty, it's a blissful almanac, but I've lost focus, losing sleep and gaining fat. I used to worry that I was just playing a part, talking nonsense and hoping that you call it art. I spent a long time watching all you fall apart, my little world of wishful thinkers, friends with troubled hearts. And lately I've been talking less and hating more, gathering grudges like they used to gather at my door. Jealousy isn't something I relish, it's genuinely sore. I wish I had the guts to say I need you more. I wish I had the guts to say I need you more. I wish I had the guts. Okay, so I have now recorded my voice. As you can see, this is what a voice wave looks like. It's quite beautiful, I think, this beautiful wave here, which shows you all the parts of my voice. And because I recorded it to a metronome, we can hope that that's in time. So let's take the metronome off now. In fact, let's listen to it with the metronome on. So I don't need this dead air at the start. So I'll just do this. If you have a wee look. And then I'll just drag this over here. So with the metronome on, here we go. I used to travel, now I stare at maps, gazing, lustful, longing for the journey back. I'm blessed with plenty, it's a blissful almanac, but I've lost focus, losing sleep and gaining fat. I used to worry that I was just playing a part, talking nonsense and hoping that you call it art. I spent Okay, so it's a wee bit out of time with the metronome because I moved it backwards. However, that is your basic recording software. Now, why is that helpful? Well, this time we're going to take the metronome off. Here we go. And now, I used to travel, now I stare at maps, gazing, lustful, longing for the journey back. I'm blessed with plenty, it's a blissful almanac, but I've lost focus, losing sleep and gaining fat. Okay, so now we have the vocal part. Now, it's not perfect, okay, because we don't have here a real recording microphone plugged in, but this is how we start to get our ideas down, and this is really important, okay? It's a really, really good method for starting something, and that is, well, the beginning, the best place to start, isn't it? So I'm just going to very quickly move this into time, and then I'm going to show you how to add some layers, how to add some chords. Okay, so here we go. 1 second. I used to travel. I used to travel. Now I used to travel. I used to travel. Now I stare at maps, gazing, lustful, longing for the journey back. Cool. Right, okay, just fix that timing there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some sort of instrumentation. And the cool thing about this is you can actually record this in from your keyboard. So if you're using a laptop or you're using a desktop computer, you can use your keyboard to make these sounds. What is even better is if you have a MIDI keyboard, which looks like this. You can plug that in with a USB to this particular program, and it will find it here at this input. So that would be the thing that's going in, is called the input. And then you can actually play the keyboard to make the sounds. Now, we're working as if we don't have those things because this is about songwriting for everyone. So we're going to work from our keyboard on our computer, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to add in some keys, okay? Just something basic. So how do I do that? Well, I've got my voice, that's there, all right? If you just want to save it to make sure, give it a wee save. There we go, boom. Okay, so while we're doing that, we're going to add a track. So this time, I'm going to add an instrument track. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to decide on the instrument. Now, wonderfully, it shows you the letters you can press. So give you all these keys. You can also click on them if you want to have a grand piano, but you don't have to have a grand piano because we also have synth keys, synth leads, synth pads, all on the keyboard. So I'm going to go with synth pads because I love a pad. So I like the idea with synth. I don't know what it's going to sound like. We'll find out. Okay, let's hear. I don't know if that's silly enough for me, to be honest. Let's try something else. Cloud fluff. Oh, dream pad. Oh, for goodness sake. Surely dream pad. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so we'll use, yeah, we'll get that in a wee sec. So we'll use Dreampad, okay? So for this, I just want to make it quite chilled out, okay? So I'm going to probably just use some basic chords. So this is the note C. I'm probably going to bring the octave up a little bit as well. Okay, So I'm going to use Z and C, the letters Z and C, to make a basic C chord. And I'm going to use the letters B and M to make a basic A minor chord. And I'm just going to play these in over the 4/4. So you're going to keep that metronome on, okay? And you are going to press record, and this time it will record this track, not this track. This track is safe, it won't record over it. So this time you're going to record this track here. Okay, so here's how it works, right? Here we go, wish me luck. I used to travel, now I stare at maps, gazing, lustful, longing for the journey back. I'm blessed with plenty, it's a blissful almanac, but I've lost focus, losing sleep and gaining fat. I used to worry that I was just playing a part, talking nonsense and hoping that you call it art. I spent a long time watching all you fall apart, my little world of wishful thinkers, friends with troubled hearts. And lately I've been talking less and hating more, gathering grudges like they used to gather at my door. Jealousy isn't something I relish, it's genuinely sore. I wish I had the guts to say I need you more. I wish I had the guts to say I need you more. I wish I had the guts. Okay, so I've added some basic keys in. They're very loud. We're going to turn them down. There we go. So we've added some basic keys in here, and hopefully, if all things go... Now, this is the last thing I'm going to show you before giving you a challenge for next week. So we've all been in a place now where we've got our verse and we've got our chorus and we've started building our world, whatever that may be. And this is a place to digitize your ideas. And I really do think it is an important part of songwriting these days, and something that can't be overlooked. So back in the old days, we played a guitar, we played a piano, we wrote a song. But much more of songwriting is now about production, and this is certainly something that I think will be very helpful for you moving forward. The last thing I'm going to show you before I ask you to go and try and make your own piece of music on this is how to quantize your MIDI track. So as you can see, this doesn't really look in time. So how am I going to fix that? Well, I'm going to double click on it. And what that's going to do is wonderfully, it brings up all my notes. And this is the wonder of digital technology. So if I minimize this, using this button there we go. I can select all these notes at the one time. Beautiful. Now, if I maximize it, I can move along to the start of my track. And then I should have all these notes in time. So shall we check with our metronome? And we can go and check by looking at the bars. 1, 2, and then we've got 3. So that should be on the bar. Parts here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Change 2, 3, 4. So that should be on that line. And there's this wonderful button here called Humanize if you want to give it a bit of swing as well. So that should be the same throughout these tracks. And if it's not, I can very quickly fix that. But it looks like it mostly is. This one here isn't too far forward. So, and this is really the nitty-gritty of songwriting, but it is important as a songwriter to at least do these basic functions. Because these are the functions that help you beyond the idea and actualize the idea a little bit more. Okay, so that should be sitting here on not there. Goodness me, what you don't go out of tune. Okay, so if we have a listen now, this should all be in time, and I'm going to take my metronome off to get a good proper feeling for it. So here we go. Take that off and press return to go back to the start, and press the space bar to play the song. Now, let's go. I used to travel. Now I stare at maps, gazing, lustful, longing for the journey back. I'm blessed with plenty, it's a blissful almanac, but I've lost focus, losing sleep and gaining fat. I used to worry that I was just playing a part, talking nonsense and hoping that you call it art. I spent a long time watching all you fall apart, my little world of wishful thinkers, friends with troubled hearts. And lately I've been talking less and hating more, gathering grudges like they used to gather at my door. Jealousy isn't something I relish, it's genuinely sore. I wish I had the guts to say I need you more. I wish I had the guts to say I need you more. I wish I had the guts. Okay, cool. So as you can hear, we're now starting to build a sonic world. Okay, now I appreciate that is a very, very brief look at Bandlab. But the next thing I would do is I would start to add layers. So I'd probably go back to instruments or drum machine, and I would start to add a beat. I shouldn't have done drum machine there, sorry. Instrument. We'll just delete that wee track. Excuse me, a wee second. Okay, so I would go to add track, I would go back to instrument, and for me, I like to find drums here. So I would go to instrument, I would go to drums, go to drum kit or drum pads. So let's go to drum pads and let's have boom bap classic. Okay, so now it's telling me again what letters I can press. So I'm looking for the kick drum. Here it is. I'm looking for a snare drum, which is V there. Okay, so the next thing I would do, exactly the same again. There's a wee clap, see there? It's got all your hip hop drums here if you're writing hip hop. I would then start a new layer and add my next layer of instruments and so on and so forth. And you can adjust the volume here, whether you want it to be louder or quieter. So once you actually build your world here, you can start to imagine what your song might sound like when it's fully produced. It's also a really great way to get your ideas out of your head and onto paper. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to invite someone to join your session. So we'll very quickly try and save this. It didn't work a wee minute ago, but oh, there you go, it's saved now. So if you want to invite, say for instance, me or Steg G into your session, you just press this wee button here, and then you put in an email address. So if it's going to be me, Becky Wallace, it would be Becky Wallace at hotmail.com. There you go, and I'm added in, and I would just send that. You can also invite by copying a link, which is another way to do it. So you can let people into your session to hear what you're doing and maybe add some music to it as well if you like. The last thing I'm going to show you, and then that's our Bandlab tutorial finished for now, is that you can also add MIDI files and audio files in here. So if you've got a 4/4 drum beat that you've found online and it's at 100 beats per minute, then that's the tempo. It needs to be at the same tempo. You could drag and drop that in here, and that would add that sound to your song, which is just brilliant, isn't it? So what to do then, your challenge is to please try and create part or some or part of your song, or all of it if you can, on Bandlab. Once you've done that, then please drop us a little email or invite us into your session using this button here, the invite button, and we'll listen to what you're making. Best of luck, my friends. See you soon.